Hey guys, day 133. We're going to start with ELA. All right, today's assignment is all about identifying personification and hyperbole. Now, throughout this week, we've been talking about figurative language devices, and these are two that are personally my favorite. Make sure that you write your first name, your last name, and circle your homeroom. At this time, I'm going to ask you guys to put this video on pause so you can complete the Please Do Now on your own. Press pause. Okay, guys, welcome back. So, as we go through the Please Do Now, I want you guys to keep in mind what we've learned earlier this week. Now, we've talked about similes and metaphors and how we can identify them, but if you need some help, you can scroll down and we have a little hint. So we know similes have like or as in the phrase. So let's go through all 10 really quickly. His legs are as skinny as toothpicks. So that's the portion that I'm going to focus on. It has as in there, so I know that my answer is S because it is a simile. Next, we have Mr. Donovan is a great big barrel of a man. Now, we're comparing Mr. Donovan to a big barrel of a man, but it doesn't have the phrase like or as, so we know that we put an M on the line because it is a metaphor. Now, next, she's a maestro in the kitchen. Did I hear like or as in that sentence? No, I did not. So I know it is a metaphor. For those of you who are getting all of these right, kudos to you. I want to make sure I show you some love. So next, number 4. The toddler was a ray of sunshine. No like or as, so it has to be a metaphor. Number 5. The kids came through the house like a herd of buffalo. Like a herd of buffalo. So we know that this is a simile. Next, number 6. Mr. Sullivan's students were as quiet as mice. As we're comparing with the phrase with the words like or as, so we know that it is a simile. All right, let's go on number 7. The kids were a troop of monkeys on the playground. What do you think it is? Do you hear the words like or as? Nope, it is a metaphor. All right, number 8. Elaine's eyes sparkled like diamonds in the sun. Like diamonds in the sun. So I'm going to make sure I highlight that, and it is simile. She kept scratching her head like a dog with fleas. Like a dog with fleas. Like is the key word here. It is simile. Now moving right along, number 10. Mr. Cooper's voice affected me like nails on a chalkboard. Like nails on the chalkboard. Underline that. Well, we're not going to underline it. We're going to highlight it and make it red like we've done the other ones. And we're going to keep it moving because we know that this is a simile. All right, so I want you to pause the video right now so you can correct your mistakes. Make sure you look at the examples that I gave. All right, guys, press pause, make your changes. Okay, welcome back. Now, if at any time you feel like I'm going too fast, you can go back and rewind the video to watch it again. If you think I'm going too slow, you can fast forward the video. That's the great thing about doing this e-learning. We can do it at our own pace. Next, we have vocabulary. This week, we've been working on word work. For vocabulary, word work, we will be working with prefixes, suffixes, and root words. A prefix is an affix that's placed at the what? The beginning. You're right. Of another what? Another word. Correct. Now, a root word is a word that does not have a prefix or suffix added. If you got those right, pat yourself on the back, because we got this. All right, let's keep it moving. Our vocabulary word today consists of the prefix pre and the root word heat. Pre and then heat. When we combine those two words, we create a whole new word. So, the definition for the prefix pre means before. Now, when we think about the root word heat, that means hot. Now, when we mash those two words together, we create the word preheat. Now, when we look preheat up, where do we look it up? In the dictionary. So as I look my word preheat up in the dictionary, it tells me that preheat means to heat beforehand. All right, so when we're looking for a synonym for the word preheat, the first thing that comes to mind is heat up. And when I'm thinking about antonyms, the first thing that comes to my mind is to chill. Now, when we're looking at the illustration at the bottom of our page, we have to explain it. It says the man is preheating the oven because. So, if we're looking at the characteristics in the photo, we know that the guy is looking at the oven because he's preheating the oven. So that means he's heating it beforehand. So we can fill in our line by saying the man is preheating the oven because he is warming it before he puts the food in. Period. All right, so again, if at any time, if I'm moving too quickly, you can pause the video, fill in your portion on your copy of the work, and then continue with me. All right, guys, flip the page. Okay, board equals paper. Board equals, that means we're learning a new skill or we're continuing to review the skills that we already know. Now, we already know that figurative language is when poets use words to express their thoughts in a more exciting way. There are 6 types of figurative language. We have already gone over so many, but today's focus is on personification and hyperbole. Now, at the beginning of this video, I told you that these are my favorite. Personification is when the author gives human traits to non-living objects. Now, what do I mean by that? Here's an example. The alarm clock danced along the desk as it rang 5 times. Let me move this little guy out the way. Okay, the next example is the sun waved goodbye on the setting horizon. Now, we have another example. The teapot sang a happy tune as the hot water was ready. And our last example, The wind hit me in the face as I walked outside. Now, those are all things that people can do. Now, here's a little hint. When I think about personification, I find the key word person. Now, I'm going to highlight that for you guys because person helps me remember that personification is talking about things that people do and not things that objects do. Okay. Next, great readers ask, what is an object? What are the human traits it's being given? So when we think about personification, those are the thoughts that should be going through our heads. Moving right along to a hyperbole is an exaggeration or an overstatement that the author used to create forceful imagery or to make a strong point. Our first example, Dakota was so angry she could eat a horse. Now, this is going way over the line. It's over the top. It is hyper. So when we think about hyperbole, we have to think about things that are doing way too much. Now, I'm going to highlight hyper and hyperbole so we can make sure that we remember that hyperbole means that we're doing way too much. We're exaggerating. We're overstating. Our next example is Ashley called me blank times last night asking me for help. Well, I'd say Ashley called me 100 times last night asking me for help. Now, literally, I'm sure Ashley did not call her 100 times, but she's being hyper. She's exaggerating. She's overstating. That's why this is a hyperbole. Deshaun died laughing when he saw Mr. Albert trying to do the D-Lo shuffle. Now, we know for a fact that Deshaun didn't die, especially if he's still laughing. So this is where we're doing way too much and we're overstating. We're giving a hyper example. So we know it is a hyperbole. All right, let's move on to the model. Now, in our model, we have hyperbole, personification, simile, and metaphor. Now, if we can think way back, we've gone over simile. That's a comparison of two things using like or as. We're using metaphors in the past. That means that we're comparing two things that do not use the words like or as. Hyperbole is hyper, exaggeration. Personification is giving human characteristics to non-human objects. So with that in mind, let's go through our questions number 1 through 8 so we can get it done. Now, number 1, it says the snow laid a thick blanket over the grass. Answer is personification. Next, number 2, it says Leseric is a beast when it comes to reading books. Answer is metaphor. Number 3, Malik is as hungry as a hippo when it's breakfast. Our answer is simile. Number 4, Miss Fleming drops rhymes like Lil Wayne. Again, our answer is simile. Number 5, the TV begged for Mike Tavy to watch it, but he did his homework instead. Our answer is personification. Sentences 6, 7, and 8, our answer is hyperbole. Make sure you go back through and read those questions so you can know what a hyperbole actually is. Now, we're moving on to the guided practice. I have a poem called The Olympic Runner. So I've went ahead and marked up the poem for you guys so you can see a clear view of how to identify the lines and the stanzas. So if we go through the questions, we can look through and see that I've answered them for you. I want you to take this and I want you to use it so you can make sure that you complete the independent practice on your own. Please have a parent help you read through. Now, goodbye. See you tomorrow. Oh, don't forget to finish the exit ticket today. Have a great day, guys.